American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Congressional leaders met with President Trump at the White House Monday to discuss efforts to fund the government ahead of September 30th, but Vice President J.D. Vance says he expects a shutdown is imminent. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he wants to work with Democrats on their proposal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, but he's afraid that money is being exploited by insurance companies.
It is rife with waste, fraud, and abuse. It needs reforms. It is a program where the government makes direct payments to insurance companies. Insurance companies get subsidies to cover more people, so through their agents and brokers, they go out and auto-enroll people, many of whom don't even know they have coverage.
Congress has until midnight to pass the budget plan that would avert the government shutdown. North Carolina Congressman Brad Knott says Democrats are making extreme demands.
You know, when you have the most simple plan, it's the easiest plan to defend. We have a clean CR, which many of us were not too happy about, myself included. I would have rather have had some more cuts. I would have rather have taken a little bit more aggressive approach, but we compromised and we did a clean CR. Unfortunately, the Democrats are not taking that approach. They are being run by AOC. They're being run by the more radical factions of their party, and they are making extreme demands. And we on the Republican side just are not budging. And until they get back to, I would say, reasonable ground, there's really not a lot to discuss there.
The state of Oregon is suing the Trump administration after a National Guard deployment in Portland. But Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry announcing his request for a National Guard deployment in New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
We're sending the Department of War a request to send the National Guard, asking them to deploy the National Guard here in Louisiana into our cities like New Orleans and Baton Rouge and others, so we can continue to reduce the amount of violence on our streets. Why would you not want your citizens to be safe? We started to see violence start to trickle down in the city of New Orleans, and lately we've seen an uptick. So I'm calling the president today. I sent a letter to Secretary Hegseth and said, hey, we want some orders. Please send us some troops, and we are going to crack down on violence in the city of New Orleans.
Turning Point USA is moving full steam ahead since the assassination of founder Charlie Kirk. CEO Erica Kirk says they're stronger than ever.
I gave assurance to people that Turning Point USA is continuing, and it is. I mean, we are so blessed to have more work than we even could ever dream of. I mean, it's beautiful, and Turning Point Action, full steam ahead.
A feature report on Fox highlighted a new university in Texas that emphasizes truth and free expression, something that Steve Ducey concludes seems like exactly the kind of place that Charlie Kirk was trying to turn every American campus into.
Steve Ducey said in his feature piece from his trip to the University of Austin that the institution was founded on telling the truth.
And the truth is, here, tuition is absolutely free.
The school started in 2023. The freshman and sophomore class's total population is about 150 students.
It's attracting students from across the country. And you know what? The DEI page of the school website, it's the Declaration of Independence.
Ducey talked with Carlos Carvalho, the new president. Here he is giving a welcome to new students.
America's next quarter millennium begins here today with you. Welcome to the rebellion.
Ducey asked him about his welcome.
What I was trying to tell them is that, here we are celebrating 250 years of the American experiment. And I was going to bring back a notion of defending something that is very rebellious and unusual these days, which is the notion of inequality. The notion that we're not here trying to make everybody equal. We're trying to challenge them.
In an institution that is pursuing the truth, Ducey asked him, does this mean that other universities do not do that? Carvalho, in effect, said the denial of the existence of universal truth has proven detrimental.
That is perhaps the number one reason for the decay of the system that we're trying to now rekindle.
He explained that's the rejection of the notion of the existence of truth and that we're able to find it through rigorously engaging with ideas. He said that's what universities used to be all about, and that is what they're now trying to recover at the University of Austin. I'm Bronson Woodruff.
More news online at afn.net and on the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty P.
AFA Action takes attacks on the family seriously. The enemies of the family constantly employ new tactics to try to sneak past our radar. They know if we stand together, their evil plans will fail. Your gift to AFA Action allows us to stay vigilant against their onslaught. And if you give this month, you'll receive access to the Cultural Institute video When Your Faith is Illegal by Frank Harbor on AFA Stream as our thanks. You can make your gift today at afaaction.net.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network, AFR. Today is Tuesday, September the 30th, 2025. Thanks for listening. As the announcer told you, I'm Tim Wildmon with Wesley Wildmon. Good morning, Wesley.
Good morning.
Chris Woodward.
Good morning.
And Ray Pritchard in Kansas City. Good morning, Ray.
Hey, Tim. How you doing this morning?
Doing good. It's a beautiful day here in Tupelo. How about there?
It is equally beautiful here. The sun is shining. Blue sky, 73 degrees, no wind. A good day for golf or a good day for a bike ride, whichever is your pleasure.
Yeah. Fishing or Wesley?
Fishing. That's
fishing.
right.
Wesley, yeah. Now, when you say
fish
fishing, yeah, I do fish some. I enjoy fishing. But right now, I have 3 kids, and only one of them can fish without my help.
So if you sign up for that,
I don't fish.
You're going to be doing a lot of work.
That's right.
Huh?
I wish I could share an image over the radio, but I can't. But just visualize my last trip coming home and having 2 pink poles, all in which at the top was a nest of what do you call it? Wire, line, fishing line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll give you a bad attitude.
Oh yeah.
I saw that and heard the Andy Griffith theme. Theme in my head.
You know what I do with this now?
What's that?
I just take it and I just cut it, and then I redo it.
That's the easiest way
I
to
just
do it.
redo it.
I don't blame you.
Work smarter, not harder.
Hey, real quick on that note though, it was just a week ago, maybe 2. I lose track of time. In the last couple of weeks, we were out there fishing. Enjoying the beautiful.
You and your 3 kids.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Me and my 3 kids out there enjoying fishing. Bennett, my oldest, he's 10. He's fishing on his own. He can catch fish, take the fish off, and rebait it all by himself. Well, I got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old daughters, and the 4-year-old daughter, she didn't care enough about it right now. She's running around having a good time. Well, Landry, our middle one, 7. She's enjoying it, but she's not as advanced as far as doing it on her own. So she's casting. All that said, after about an hour of just literally being persistent, casting and throwing the best she knows how, she caught the biggest fish for that day. And you want to talk about a 10-year-old older brother, competitive nature coming out. He's just started I'm like, you have to be happy for her. He was like, yeah, but that's not fair. And I'm like, it's not fair. You've caught 4 already. Anyways.
But she caught the biggest one?
Yeah, she caught the biggest one. She caught a 2.5 pounder there just casting on her
I just wanted people to know that when you said you got 2 pink fishing poles, end quote, that you have 2 daughters.
That's a good point, yes.
Okay, now I know that boys use pink baseball bats now.
It's a new thing.
I'm against it. But huh, Ray?
It's not right.
That's not right.
No.
But anyway.
Yeah, in the sports world, there's neon colors
everywhere. Yeah, I don't have.
Right.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, all right. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, how big was the fish?
It was about a 2. She caught my daughter, 7-year-old Landry, caught about a 2.5 pound bass.
That'll fight you there.
It'll fight, yeah.
Especially for a 7-year-old girl.
Yeah, and I was able to, in real time, I grabbed my phone real quick, put it on record, got it on video, sent it around to the family, and proud for her. But right now, they're in school, so there's no fishing going on right now, and we're at work, so we got things to cover.
Yeah, so basically the life lesson there is if you get all your fishing line tangled up, just cut it.
Just cut it.
Just cut it.
Yeah, start over.
Cut it and start over.
That'll teach, won't it?
That's right. All right, so Ray, give us a good word from the Bible this morning, if you would.
Well, from the book of Job, Marlene and I were reading. We're doing our Bible listening, and today just happened to come to Job chapter 19. A lot of people think, oh, the book of Job, I don't know what I can get out of that. But you come to chapter 19, it's one of the greatest statements in all the Old Testament. Job, who had lost his kids, who had lost his fortune, had lost his reputation, had lost his health. He's there sitting on he's scraping himself, sitting in the ash heap, and these 3 friends, the miserable comforters, come to him and they blame him for all his problems. And Job then in chapter 19, Tim, he says this. After listing all the things he'd been through, he said, but I know that my Redeemer lives.
Amen.
And in the end, he will stand upon the earth. It's a good thing to know. It's even better to know that you have a Redeemer. And it's really wonderful to know that you have a Redeemer who is living right now. And the best thing may be to know that in the end of days, there is the Redeemer coming, who is, we know now, the Lord Jesus Christ. He will stand upon the earth. And then he says, even after my skin has been destroyed, he means after I die, yet in my flesh I will see God. I will see him for myself. My eyes will behold him, and not as a stranger. This is the highest point of Job's faith. It's one of the highest points in all the Old Testament. Friends, it's good to know. It's better to know you have a Redeemer. It's wonderful to know that he is living. It's better yet to know that he's coming back. And the best of all is that when the Redeemer comes back, we will see him. And he will see us, and we will know him, not as a stranger, but as a friend. So whatever you're slogging through today, remind yourself you have a Redeemer, a living Lord Jesus Christ. Friends, he is coming back, and when he does, we will see him, and we will be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Better days are coming for the people of God. Hang on, child of God. Better days are on the way.
Amen. Amen, brother. You're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio. And thank you, Ray, for that word from the Bible, that good word from the Bible. Go ahead.
Yes.
Chris, have you ever felt like Job?
At times, and then
we want specifics. No.
Well, it is funny sometimes. Like you'll think your world is falling apart because of this, or this, and then you go to a church service or you come here and you hear prayer time from some of your coworkers, and you realize how small your problems are compared to other people. So whether it's the story of Job or even when you sit in a prayer meeting with other people, you realize that, oftentimes what you think is the biggest issue in the world is very insignificant compared to the situations that other people are going through.
Yep, that's true.
All right, well, tell us about some insignificant issues in the world.
Yes.
Going on here, Chris.
All right, so what we now call the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, he gave a very fiery speech today to members of the military, and I've got 3 cuts here, all of which are clips that are trending on social media. And I say trending because a lot of people liked what Hegseth had to say. Some people were like, I can't believe he said that, or I can't believe he said it that way. Let's begin here. When it comes to like fitness, specifically the fitness of generals, War Secretary Pete Hegseth is tired of seeing overweight soldiers and overweight generals. Clip 11.
If the Secretary of War can do regular hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year, every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our joint force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already.
Now, PT means physical training?
Yes. So he wants them to be able to run obstacle courses, do the same push-ups, chin-ups, pull-ups, all that stuff.
It's the same thing for any law. It varies of how much and what it is, but it's the same thing for police officers and those that serve in other law enforcement. When you are responsible for protecting and defending, you ideally would like to be more physically fit than the person that you could potentially, your threat that you could potentially go up against. So this is common sense. I do think it's interesting. It's the first I've heard of him saying, let's bring this also to those that are in charge behind the desk as well. So That was the
I can
first
tell
I heard
you,
that.
when you sit at a desk for long periods of time and you don't get up so much, you tend
You
to.
know what?
awake
Maybe
it.
we need to institute
That's
this.
right. I knew it was coming.
I need to
Here
have
we go.
I need to have a speech with our staff here and tell them they're going to have to buff up.
I'm going to make healthy you great again.
Buff up or slim down?
Or both.
That's right.
Both. I'll let you talk to the ladies.
About
With
We're all going to have to bike back and
talk
forth
to
to
the
Ray's
dudes.
house.
Listen, it's, in all seriousness, I think what this is interesting, very interesting. This is Pete Hegseth. He's the Secretary of War. They are. You call it Secretary of War or War Secretary?
Either one, they interchange.
Okay, formerly known as the Secretary of Defense, a cabinet level position for the for President Trump, Pete Hegseth, and he is speaking there. Who all? Do you know who all was in attendance? Was this?
It was 800 of the top U.S. military leaders, including generals, admirals at the Marine Corps base in Quantico.
Is this the same meeting where we read about a couple of days ago that President Trump and Pete Hegseth had summoned? Was this already planned? Does anybody know?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so
this is where he said Diaz dead.
Yes, I have that as well.
Okay, we got that
okay,
audio.
so Ray, he's laying
No more fat generals at the Pentagon.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Pentagon leaders were happy to hear that. But
now, he said what height and weight, didn't he? Didn't he? What he said?
I may have been just paraphrasing.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he
did say fat.
Yeah,
he said FAT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did. He tired of seeing that at the Pentagon. So, I mean, that's not exactly Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and influence people, but it is how you get right. It's how you develop a world-class fighting force.
Yeah,
that's
right?
what he's getting at. Yeah,
right. We want the best of the best.
And he's saying the leadership needs to be an example.
Lead by example.
Yeah, I don't know what age that applies to. AGE, I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I'd imagine that there's also a formula for those that are.
You can't ask a 65-year-old to do the same thing you ask a 35-year-old to do.
No, but you can ask
not
them.
Fair.
It's
Well,
not
you
fair.
can ask him, but he's not going to be able to do it, right?
Yeah. I think in that case he would be more referencing to being overweight in that case, more so than physical. But yeah, but I do think the point that was interesting when he said, if you were to be on a battlefield and you looked across there and you saw that there were fat people, overweight people, it's not as intimidating. And there is something to be said about the psychological effect that someone who has been disciplined over countless times to meet a physical requirement. There is that is a factor too. That
yeah,
interesting.
I don't know. You know, I'm sure they got this figured out, but also there's a lot of, somebody 5'5".
Well, that's
I'm talking about a woman. Let's say a woman. I know you're not supposed to talk about a woman's weight.
Well, he wants them to pass the same PT stuff. He wants them to be.
Who's going to tell them they're overweight?
Good point. He did not say fat women, but he does want women that
big
are in
boned.
combat.
Go with big boned.
He does want women in combat to go through
Large
the same training.
frame.
Yeah.
Large frame, healthy.
We are losing.
But what I'm saying is, I'm sure they got
here.
this figured out. Then we will move on from this subject. So I think we milked it for all it's worth.
I have more though from Hegseth.
Well, okay, but I'm just saying that some people are built different, so that let's say a 5'5" woman someone may be 180, but they're fit, and where somebody weigh 150 and they're not.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily that in a priority that the weight as much as being physical fit. So you could now I would say that in most cases they both go hand in hand and they're joint. But to your point, there may be a few exceptions that someone may be slightly overweight, but they meet all the physical training requirements. So therefore, I would assume they would pass. But you're talking about an exception to the overall rule, which is he wants to prioritize physical training and passing physical tests.
Yeah. All right, next, what else you got
there? Secretary Hegseth also wants to do away with all the woke stuff in the military. Clip 13.
Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading, and we lost our way. We became the woke department, but not anymore. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions.
Now, he went on, and I had to cut it there. By the way, I have posted the entire speech on our Today's Issues Facebook page. Don't watch it with the kids.
You said he went on?
There was some language, yes.
Okay.
Oh, you mean, well, I love that.
No more dudes in dresses.
more dudes
Is
in
that what he said?
Yes.
Go.
I love
Let's
that.
go.
What he just said was awesome.
And that is why
What he slip off in some bad language there?
Well, he's a military guy. He might. My dad was a sailor. I mean, he used some PG-13
Oh, you
words.
cuss like a sailor? Your dad
Emphatic.
He used some PG-13 words in the speech that we didn't bring into the show.
So we all have to.
We can't play that on this radio station.
Not according to Brent. No.
We all sat at this table, and Ed was in here as well.
Yeah.
When we all had slight like question marks about Pete Hegseth because of, quote, his background in military, which of course he served. There was slight like questions now, but for me, I withheld anything because of statements like that he was already making before he was elected, or not elected, before President Trump put him in his position, okay? Selected him.
Yeah.
All right, next.
And now
he's
doing stuff like that, and that's exactly why he didn't get in his position and change his mind. He's always had that position.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's some of the controversies that are not controversial with us, but controversial. The liberal Democrats were going, oh yeah. Right, what he said a while ago, right
no
there. You talk about triggering
in
people.
Dresses.
That triggered people. That triggered them. I want to hear that again, though. That's like playing a song, that you want to hear a second time.
Yes.
I want to hear
Back
that.
by popular demand.
Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading, and we lost our way. We became the woke department, but not anymore. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions.
No more. What do you say about no more recognizing
climate change distraction?
Yeah, well, the climate change worshiping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then no more identity
gender dysphoria.
Yeah, and identity. Anyway, what else has he got here, Chris?
Well, this one's short and sweet, but basically he just wants the military to be better again. Clip 12.
You love your country, and we love this uniform, which is why we must do better.
Amen. Well,
that's it?
Yeah.
I halfway through popcorn here.
It was
like
short.
5 seconds.
I had to chop it down.
Chop it down. There was some grown man language there.
Yeah. Well, listen, Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of War, or War Secretary. He barely made it.
Mm-hmm.
Barely was confirmed.
Yeah.
But I know people, I don't know him personally, but I know people who do know him personally, and they're very impressed with him. He's this is who he is, and this is what he believes, and what he's advocating for. Well, he's not advocating for. He's putting into place.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm talking about Pete Hegseth in the military. Really, is only reestablishing how the armed forces used to look, how they used to be. Before all this, so he called it woke, the woke department.
Yeah.
Before all the woke stuff came into the military, and by the way, caused the United States military, all branches, to dive in terms of recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, major tanks.
And then when President Trump was elected and Pete Hegseth came in to be Secretary of War, the recruiting numbers have gone way, way up in the military. Now, I believe, I can't prove this, but Ed's talked about this too. You have a lot of times in the military, you have generational service. So somebody's great-grandfather did, and then their grandfather did, and then they did it. You know that kind of thing. A family lineage. Well, that stopped. What really stopped around the Obama years because of all the woke garbage that started coming into the military. And then when they forced them to take the COVID vaccine, a ton more left, right? Or either they fired them. They said if you don't take the COVID vaccine, we don't want you in the military. You remember that?
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
that caused a big problem too. So, but with the election of President Trump, with Pete Hegseth, Ray, the numbers of recruiting in the United States military are going way, way back up. Go ahead.
Well, I noted that in the speech, and Chris, you may have this somewhere, he actually said out with, and he named a number of modern day military leaders, including General Milley, and then he said in with, and one of them was Norman Schwarzkopf of the first Gulf War.
Storm and Norman.
And then he named General Patton. And I just think there's a lot of, particularly veterans around the country, who would stand up and cheer and say, well, it's about time.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Back to Stormin' Norman and back to George Patton.
Yeah. All right, you're listening to Today's Issues. That's the name of this show. On American Family Radio, Tim, Wesley, Chris, and Ray. Go ahead. What's your next story?
Well, for the purposes of time, since we're coming up on a break, I do want to point out that Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry does indeed and has officially now requested National Guard troops to help combat crime in Louisiana. Clip 10.
We're sending the Department of War a request to send the National Guard, asking them to deploy the National Guard here in Louisiana into our cities like New Orleans and Baton Rouge and others, so we can continue to reduce the amount of violence on our streets. Why would you not want your citizens to be safe? We started to see violence start to trickle down in the city of New Orleans, and lately we've seen an uptick. So I'm calling the president today. I sent a letter to Secretary Hegseth and said, hey, we want some orders. Please send us some troops, and we are going to crack down on violence in the city of New Orleans.
That's the governor of Louisiana right
Jeff
there?
Landry, former attorney general, knows a thing or two about the law. So
The only question I would have there, and I know there's a good answer to it, is if he's the governor, why doesn't he call out the National Guard himself?
Yeah, that's a great point. Many people have talked about that. Why, this is almost a situation why you can't keep depending on the federal government when you have the power to do things yourself. Some people have pointed that out.
Particularly New Orleans. I don't Baton Rouge maybe they have high crime numbers. I'm not sure, but I know New Orleans does, and per capita, it's one of the very dangerous place.
Yeah.
Per capita, and I'm sure there's lots of lovely places that are safe in New Orleans, but there are enough to where the crime numbers are again per capita are way up there. Same with Jackson, Mississippi, with St. Louis, with Memphis. There's a lot of cities. That's a Mississippi River there, right? Now it must be something about the river. You think?
Something's in the water.
Something's in the water. There you go, Chris. Something's in the water. No, I don't know what's going on there with, but exactly why those cities, are dangerous. Again, per capita. All right, next story. We got to take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take a break right here. So the governor of Louisiana is asking President Trump for help.
Officially.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that because the governor and or the mayor, I don't know how the mayor of New Orleans feels about that, but really she's second under the governor in terms of who's in control of the state. Right. I'm sure the governor would like to work with the mayor. Maybe the mayor of New Orleans wants help too in policing the streets of New Orleans. But I bet. But anyway, all right, let's take a break right here, and we'll be back with more of Today's Issues on American Family Radio.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
It's an old story. I'm sure most of you have heard it more than once, but it's a timeless story and worth passing on again and again, even if we have heard it before. Around the year 1490, there were two young men, both struggling young artists, who were very good friends. But both of them were also poor, and that meant that they had to support themselves while they studied art. Because the work took so much of their time and energy, their advancement in the field of art was extremely slow. Discussing their plight, they came upon an agreement. They would draw straws, they decided, and the one who won would study while the other would work to support both of them. The two drew straws, and the one who lost went to work to support both of the men. The young artist who won went to the cities of Europe to study. History records that he soon became recognized as one of the outstanding artists of his time. A part of their agreement also said that when the one who won the drawing became successful, he would then support the other in his studies. So, after gaining success, the winner went home to get his friend and let him come study art, while the successful artist supported both men on his earnings. When the man who had become a recognized artist saw his friend again, he discovered that the very hard manual labor which his friend had to perform had caused his fingers to become stiff and twisted. He was no longer able to execute the delicate strokes with the brush, which were necessary for an artist. It was apparent that the dream of becoming a successful artist could never come true for the man who had lost the drawing. The successful artist noticed a very unusual trait in his friend whose fingers were twisted. The friend accepted his fate not bitterly, but was happy that he'd played a part in the success of the other man. He actually rejoiced in his friend's success. One day the artist came upon his friend unexpectedly. He saw him kneeling and praying. He was praying for the success of his friend, although he himself could no longer realize his dream of becoming an artist. Something about the kneeling man caught the attention of the artist, and he hurriedly sketched the hands folded in prayer. Later, the artist took that sketch and from it drew one of the most famous and copied paintings in the world. The man who painted the hands was Albrecht Dürer. The man whose hands he painted was Franz Nigstein. And the picture he painted is known today as the Praying Hands. The beauty and inspiration of the Praying Hands comes from the life that made it possible. And remember also that drawing a picture of beauty and inspiration isn't nearly as important as living one.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Matthew 19:14.
This is Today's Issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of Today's Issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of Today's Issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Wesley, Chris, and Ray. And as always, we thank you for listening. Wesley, how can folks watch this here show if they'd like to do that? Or download our podcast if they'd like to do that?
Are you sure you want to ask me that? Because the last two times I have failed.
Well, this is third time the charm.
Okay, all right.
You redeem yourself.
Let's redeem ourselves here.
How can you fail at that?
Well, because I left out, I think it was YouTube, because I remember we were banned for so long, and then you apparently were back on, but I didn't know we were back on.
Right. Well,
so, okay.
YouTube's put us back on because,
thanks to,
well, we got back on. Let's just say that.
And we're only back on YouTube on the days that Ed's not in here.
Brent paid them off. What'd you have to pay them, Brent? Get us back on there. Undisclosed amount of money.
No, I'm kidding. Ed, it's not just because, it's not only on the days that Ed's here. We are back on YouTube. Today's Issues live on YouTube.
Basically, we got banned because during COVID, Ed was
that's right.
throwing the words like ivermectin around, Hydra, whatever it was.
One.
That one. Anyway, tell them how they can watch on the internet.
I recommend going to stream.afa.net. That's our own streaming platform. That's stream.afa.net. afa.net. You can also go to our Facebook page, Today's Issues Live, or you can go to YouTube and look up Today's Issues.
We're on Facebook,
I meant to Facebook, yeah.
Facebook and YouTube.
We also, the AFR app is another great place to download that, because you can listen to that even if you get outside the terrestrial
radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
What about in the podcast? People want to listen. If they want to listen on demand,
that's going to be afr.net. That's afr.net. We have all of our radio programs podcasted there, meaning archived, so you can go back and listen if you missed any, if there's something you missed. So, and we got a handful, not many, but we got 5 or 6 programs that are about 30 minutes that are exclusive to our podcasting, which are not on our radio network, but you can get those you can get those podcasts at afr.net. Now, they're exclusive, but you don't have to pay for them. They're not charged for them. We just don't have room on our radio network throughout the day to play them, so we host them there at afr.net.
Stephen McDowell's show, which is podcast only, from the Providence Foundation, is called America's Providential History, and it's excellent. It's aired weekly, only online. Only online.
So.
All right. Speaking of a show only online, Jenna has one as well. Once a week. And joining us right now is Jenna Ellis. She's host of the live radio show Jenna Ellis in the Morning on American Family Radio, heard 7 to 8 o'clock Central Time on AFR each weekday morning. And she's also host of On Demand, her podcast, her weekly podcast, which is also found at afr.net. afr.net is where our podcasting is hosted. Good morning, Jenna.
Good morning. Great to be with you guys.
Hey, you're they're not puppies anymore, are they? Your dogs.
No, they're my dogs. Yeah, Todd and Copper. They're maybe teenagers at this point if we're counting dog years, because today actually is their gotcha day 2 years ago, which is the celebration of when you get your dog. It's called the Gotcha Day. It's a big thing on Instagram. I didn't actually know about it until Instagram. But today, 2 years ago, is when I got both of them. So they're a little over 2 now.
Well, we used to hear them every once in a while. Where are they now?
You know what is so great about having a house with a backyard is that I can set up radio and have the screen door open, and they can come in and out, and they play mostly outside, and so it's not as we don't have a lot of as many. And
you got
Amazon
a fence.
packages.
You got a fence, just to be clear.
Yes, absolutely.
But a screen door in the summer in Florida, and you got it open.
Well, Florida is actually, we're past the heat of the summer. I was telling Brent before coming on, it's actually a little bit cloudy today.
Yeah.
And so it's not bad.
Okay.
And they love being
I've seen the size. I've seen the size of those
though.
mosquitoes in Central Florida, and I just know they can carry off a small dog. Sometimes.
Well, occasionally. See,
there we go. There we go.
They know chiming in. He heard his name.
Yeah, they know I'm calling their names. Yeah. Listen to that. All right, so Jenna, on a more serious and somber note, I know you were friends with Charlie Kirk and his wife Erica. I was talking to you / texting you the day he passed, and then the subsequent days, and you were in shock, as we all were. What do you want to say about what happened there, about Charlie? What do you give you an opportunity to speak on that?
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And doing my live show the day after he was murdered was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And I know listeners who tuned into that show, and that's on the podcast as well, our September 11th program. I was crying, I think, almost all the way through, just because of how terrible the situation was. I mean, this would have been difficult if he had, suddenly died in a car accident or, some other kind of, other thing like that. But to have this so brutally murdered just on video, in front of everyone, and to recognize that he was targeted just really for his Christian faith. I think to me, now it's been almost 3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks tomorrow. It's really for me been a point of conviction that I need to take advantage of every opportunity I have to speak the truth of the gospel of Christ, even more than I do. And, some people may be saying, well, Jenna, you get to do that every day on the radio in the morning, and that's true. But we all have more opportunities than we think. And one of the things, as I've been seeing all of the reels of Charlie and seeing how he professed his faith so clearly, he did that in a way that's just such clear communication and with such conviction that I think speaks to all of us that we all need to be prepared to give an answer for the hope that lies within us. And I also love how there has been such an inspiration to not just profess our faith, but to go back to church, to be involved in a local church as the Bible calls us to, back to marriage and family. I mean, all of these things that are so wholesome. And that's really what I saw in Charlie and in our friendship. I met him about a decade ago when he was really young. And then I got to know him more personally in 2019 when we were founding fellows together at Liberty University, and he had just started dating Erica at the time. And instead of just being so focused on politics and, big government sucks was kind of their bumper sticker, right, for TPUSA, and they were so focused on capitalism and conservative policy, all that's great. But when Erica came into his life and he was focused on family, that really changed him. And TPUSA started TPUSA Faith, and he got even more centered on saying it's not just the policy that matters, that does matter, but the fight really and the message really is the redemptive work of Christ. And he became even more bold in his faith. And that, I think, is ultimately what people are already remembering him for, is that boldness. And that's really when he started. That was when he got married and had a family. And I love that because that is God's design for us. And there's a real testimony in that as well. And Tim, I still can't believe that he's gone. And there are times where, it just hits me again that this actually happened. And I just pray for Erica and for his 2 little kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Ray, you have any thoughts or comments on or question?
Jenna, one of the things that we're seeing around the country is this unbelievable response among young people. I mean, Charlie knew how to speak to the, let's say, late teens up through the early 30s. I mean, he had the heart of that generation right in his hand. Now, Charlie is gone, but we're seeing around the country, talking to pastors around the country, I'm hearing about new people coming to church, Jenna, that have not come maybe in years, and some people who drifted away are coming back. I talked to one pastor in Montana, and he used an interesting word. He said, I see these people coming in, and they're gritty. They have grittiness about them. That is, they're not just here for pleasure, but since Charlie's assassination, something has happened. It's almost like there's been a shift inside a whole generation. So, Jenna, what are you seeing in terms of what's happening around the country? And do you think this portends perhaps a greater move of God toward, we've all been praying for revival for a long time. Could this now bring us to the brink of a great spiritual awakening?
I hope so. And I think that Charlie would have absolutely loved that, to know that his life was in any way a small or big part of that catalyst. And I agree with you. I mean, what we're seeing is so unique right now. I think it's unprecedented, and it's something we've all been praying for, and we need to grasp hold of the moment and meet that moment. And I hope that pastors especially are meeting that moment. But even me personally, I mean, I've had friends that, I've known for years who really weren't churchgoers. I mean, they kind of believed in God, but not really all that dedicated. And I've had so many people text me just saying, I really feel like I need to buy a Bible. I need to go back to church. I mean, this is really happening. And I hope that this is the start of not just a conservative wave and what we've seen kind of in this populist movement in America, but truly a refocus and a recentering on Christ, because that's ultimately what is going to change America. It's not going to be the Republicans versus the Democrats. It's not going to be Washington, D.C. What's going to transform this country and the world is if we truly have a realignment with truth. And truth, as we know, is the person of God. And I really hope that this isn't just a flashpoint moment, but it is a turning from all of the damage that we have seen to this country over the last, especially 20 years, but I would say even longer than that, 50 or 60 years down this road toward embracing sin. We've seen, abortion decisions from the Supreme Court. We've seen the homosexual decisions from the Supreme Court. We've seen, all of this just open embrace, but at the highest levels of government, of genuinely sin and evil. And when our hearts and our minds are changed to turn back to truth and Christ, that's ultimately what changes a nation, because that's what changes the individual.
Hey, Jenna, changing subjects here. Were you surprised that James Comey, the former FBI director, was indicted? Was that a federal indictment?
Yeah, so it's out of a federal district in Virginia. So the DOJ is prosecuting that. I was surprised, frankly, because typically, a Republican-led agency is often too hesitant to do anything that the left can claim is politically motivated or retaliation or lawfare, any of these ridiculous things. But ultimately, I think that there is a very solid case, and of course, Comey has a right to due process, presumption of innocence, all of that in a court of law, but I'm not going to be sitting on the jury. I don't live in Virginia. So I can say that from what I've seen and from what the indictment shows, if you lie to Congress, then you should be indicted for that. And so this is a moment, I think, where the left is finally recognizing, maybe we're not going to get away with all of this stuff and just assume that there's no accountability. I hope that this is just the beginning, because whether it's Republican or Democrat, if you violate the law, then you should be held accountable. And we need to be a law and order society, not just a politically motivated or law and order society, or assume that some people actually are and offices are above the law if you happen to have an R or D after your name.
Yeah. All right. Well, Todd and Copper, tell them we said hello. Now that you can, people can watch them on Instagram,
yes.
Right?
Yes, they can. And we've actually, in the midst of, all of this, I've made that more private, with all of the security stuff. But I post some pictures on them, but they can follow me at Jenna Ellis Media. And I actually sent you the picture of Copper when he was saying hi, because he came up on the table there. So you can see that. But yes, they say hi to all of our listeners. And I love when people write in and reach me at jenna@afr.net. That's my email address here, and tell them hi. So,
Todd and Copper, that's from the Disney movie. What was that?
Yes, The Fox and the Hound.
Fox and the Hound, yeah.
Such a good classic, none of the woke stuff.
Right.
It's one of the good ones.
All right. Well, Jenna, take care. Thanks for being on with us. And your podcast, I know a lot of people listening to you each morning at 7 o'clock Central Time right here on American Family Radio with the Jenna Ellis in the Morning Show. When your podcast coming up this week, what will it be on?
Yeah, so we're actually going to do a special episode of all of these topics we were talking about, specifically on the rise of trans violence and why that is, the worldview, and what we as Christians need to do about it in terms of worldview. So I have a very special guest for that, and that will drop on Friday. So every Friday is when On Demand comes out. And so, again, you can go to the podcast page at afr.net.
All right. Thank you, Jenna. Take care.
Thanks. You guys, too.
Okay. That's Jenna Ellis joining us from Florida. And she's that podcast, very popular, too. But Jenna, if you want to listen to her show, and you should, it's 7 to 8 o'clock each weekday morning right here on American Family Radio.
I bet she covers some of that J.K. Rowling
J.K. Rowling? Yeah, whatever. How do you pronounce that correctly?
Well, it's spelled Rowling, but she's British.
You're talking about the Harry Potter author.
Yeah, the reason I mentioned that is because within the last couple of days, she's beginning to share some of her threats that she has gotten from trans activists over the years. So she shared some of those stories. I wonder if she'll cover.
Her life's been threatened.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about, if you don't know, J.K. Rowling. I think Rowling is right, isn't it, Ray? Have you heard it?
I think Rowling is right.
Okay,
yeah.
She's a British author, and she's known worldwide for the Harry Potter
series.
But she is a ardent defender of women's rights and girls' rights.
And prior to the trans movement, she would have been considered on the left, not necessarily radicalized like we know it today, but she's a left.
Right.
But because of this issue, she's having to pick sides, so to speak.
Yeah, and she's received threats because she says that if you support the trans movement, where men or boys can claim they're girls just because they feel like they are, and then compete against girls in sports, real girls, that's unfair and that's against women's rights. And she's correct on that. But the trans movement, their supporters, they can get very hostile and very ugly and violent sometimes.
And the reason,
and so she's had to protect herself. Of course, she has the money to do that. Go ahead.
I was going to say the reason she's very popular, but the reason we also use her as an example is because we know those on the right, overwhelming majority of them support men and
traditional views on sexuality.
Right.
Yeah.
But for her to come out having a background of being on the left, that has made her a prominent voice.
Well, you have several now. You have several prominent people. Bill Maher, who are on the left. Martina Navratilova, the famous tennis star.
That's right.
She's come out and been over and over. She's a lesbian, but she says it's not. You can't be a man and compete against women. You compete against girls. So, and Pete Hegseth made it clear because he's against. He's against, quote, dudes in dresses, end quote, right?
Right. No more dudes in dresses.
That's what he said today. Yeah. You're listening to today's issues on AFR. Tim, Wesley, Chris, and Ray. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, this is a continuing topic to something we began discussing yesterday. Yesterday, President Donald Trump hosted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House, where they discussed Israel's war in Gaza, which is in retaliation, of course, for Hamas attacking them back on October 7th, 2023. Long story short, President Trump has what he's calling a 21-point peace plan for this situation and really the Middle East in general. I won't read all 21 points.
Oh, come on.
But I will say this. Point 1, Gaza will be a de-radicalized, terror-free zone that does not pose a threat to its neighbors. Gaza will be redeveloped for the benefit of its people. If Israel and Hamas agree to the proposal, the war will immediately end, and both sides will return whatever hostages they still have. I've got some audio here of President Trump talking about this, clip 1.
Everybody who wants to see an end to the violence and destruction should be united in calling for Hamas to accept the extremely fair proposal so that we can end the war and get us back our hostages right now and have everlasting peace.
That everlasting peace part is kind of...
Sounds like a song.
Right. Some people are kind of scratching their heads going, these people have always been fighting. I don't know that we'll have everlasting peace. But at least he's trying to do something.
Yeah, Ray, what do you think about what President... Have you read you know what point 19 is, Ray?
I do not. I don't know what...
well, we can get back to that. But
bear with me. I'm ready when you need me, sir.
All right, go ahead. Hold on, Ray.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Chris,
what's number 19?
What's point number 19?
By the way, I have posted these on our Today's Issues Facebook page, but number 19 is a process will be established to de-radicalize the population. This will include an interfaith dialogue aimed at changing mindsets and narratives in Israel and Gaza.
All right. Hamas ain't going to go for this, but you go ahead and try it anyway. I guess giving them A for effort. But go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
Well, look, point one is they're going to de-radicalize.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to de-radicalize Hamas. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with that one.
Good luck with that one. Nobody's been able to do that. Wish them all the best. There is inherent in these 21 points. It's interesting that Netanyahu's agreed to this. It doesn't explicitly say a Palestinian state, but it's clearly, Chris, you can check me on that, but it's clearly leading in the direction of some kind of independent Palestinian state. Look, let's get to point one. Let's de-radicalize Hamas. And then there's going to be some kind of government set up in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
All in favor of that. Send the hostages back home.
Yeah.
All of that. What can you say? We wish everybody involved all the best, but the record of peace plans involving terror groups is not very hopeful.
Point number 9 is this. Gaza
Point
will
number
be
9,
yes.
okay.
Point number 9. Number 9. Gaza will be administered by a temporary transitional government of Palestinian technocrats who will be responsible for providing day-to-day services for the people of the Strip. The committee will be supervised by a new international body established by the U.S. in consultation with Arab and European partners. It will establish a framework for funding the redevelopment of Gaza under the Palestinian Authority until the Palestinian Authority has completed its reform program.
Does it say where the Trump Hotel will be?
It does not. Maybe that was
Our
point
resort.
22 and they had to
Trump
cut
resort.
it somewhere.
Yeah, but it's going to be right on the ocean, Tim. You know that. He's going to build it right there on the shore,
With
you know.
lavish golf courses and
What is this? Gaza technocrats. What a word to use in a peace.
that's actually a bluegrass group.
Oh, yeah.
The Gaza technocrats.
Yeah,
When they opened
Gaza-
for the
they're from
Carpenters
Gaza,
at the
Kentucky.
Pyramid in 1972, it was fantastic. Let me tell you.
Listen.
No. We want more.
We want more.
Oh, I can tell you what a technocrat is.
You want to hear from the Gaza technocrats?
No, I've got all points here. I want more points.
Oh, more points. Well, we already covered 9.
What's number 11?
Okay.
19.
I got you right here. Number 11. An economic zone will be established with reduced tariffs and access rates to be negotiated by participating countries.
Oh, that's right down Trump's alley right there.
I mean,
he lives for that kind of stuff.
You had him at
What-
tariffs.
What was Tony Blair, the former prime minister?
Yeah, he's
of
in
Great Britain?
on this deal.
His name's in this. What's his job?
He's basically like an envoy that's kind of in on the talks and trying to be a mediator between the two.
Between two what?
Well, between Israel and the so-called Palestinians.
The Hamas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Hamas is I don't think Hamas is going to agree that they're radical.
No, they're just peace-loving. They're just peace-loving killers.
How are you going to de-radicalize somebody who doesn't think they're radical? Listen. This is a very serious situation, and it's sad on many levels. What's happening?
Yeah, it is.
So we're having a little fun with this, but it's a very the situation there on the ground in Gaza, and you've seen it, is one of utter desolation and dystopianism, right, Ray? I mean,
well, the surprise is Netanyahu's going to go along with this, which shows how bad the situation has become over there.
Right. Yeah, listen, the Hamas still hasn't released the hostages.
No,
they're still holding hostages.
Right.
From 2
and they're
years
holding
ago.
the bodies of some of those that have died. So it's awful.
They say 20. Right? Fred said something about 21 are still alive or something like that. But they brought on their own destruction. Okay, Hamas did. They brought on their own destruction. I'm sad to say, in Gaza by killing all those people, 1,200 people on October the 6th? 7th in 2023. We'll be back momentarily. Stay with us.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio. The enemy has pulled out all the stops to try to destroy the family for a very long time. That's why the American Family Association stands boldly in the gap to protect and strengthen this God-breathed institution. Visit afa.net today and discover the resources available for you and your family. And if you would, please take a minute to show your support. That's afa.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. The federal government could be shut down at midnight tonight if a deal is not reached to fund it. And according to Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, that's not likely.
You know, they say give us 45 days. We've had, since March, we've had 45 days and 45 days and 45 days and 45 days. They don't want to do this, the Republican leaders, because they're right wing. It'll divide their party.
House Speaker Mike Johnson pushed for Congress to adopt a continuing resolution that would keep government funding at its current levels.
There's a reason that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have come out here, stomped the feet, saying that they can't go along with this. They're trying to bring in extraneous issues. They issued a counter proposal. You should go take a look at what they requested. $1.5 trillion in new spending that is unrelated to the ongoing appropriations process.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth addressing top military leaders in Quantico, Virginia this morning, saying there will be no more wokeness in the military.
Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading, and we lost our way. We became the woke department, but not anymore. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions.
President Trump also delivering remarks to the U.S. military leaders in Quantico this morning, where he briefly discussed his potential peace deal to the Gaza war between Israel and Hamas.
We got it, I think, settled. We'll see. Hamas has to agree. And if they don't, it's going to be very tough on them, but it is what it is. But all of the Arab nations, Muslim nations have agreed. Israel has agreed. It's an amazing thing. It just came together.
President Trump is continuing his crime crackdown, sending in National Guard troops to Memphis, Tennessee this week, a city that the FBI says is the country's most dangerous. This comes alongside the deployment of federal agents to Portland and Chicago. Attorney General Pam Bondi says more troops are coming to Chicago soon to help with ICE agents, while also criticizing city leaders for fighting back against their efforts.
You've got a governor who doesn't want to help us. You've got mayors who don't want to help us. You've got woke DAs who don't want to help us. So if they're not going to help the people of their cities, we're going to help them.
A Republican political pundit does not see how the state of Oregon has any legal grounds to stop the Pentagon from deploying National Guard troops to protect federal property in Portland. Chad Groening has more.
Once again, a liberal blue state is using the courts to try to stop President Trump from carrying out his mission of ridding the country of illegal alien criminals. The president ordered 200 Oregon National Guard troops to be activated to protect federal immigration facilities in Portland against domestic terrorists, and that he was authorizing them to use, quote, full force if necessary. John Cardillo is a GOP strategist and recent guest on American Family Radio.
I think it's ridiculous. It's exactly under the purview of the President of the United States. And this is just as laughable as Brennan Johnson and J.B. Pritzker in Chicago, when over the last holiday weekend they were saying, we don't need the National Guard. This is the safest city in America. And the headline next to them was 55 shot, 7 dead over that weekend.
And Cardillo says Trump's deployment strategy has worked very well.
Crime absolutely fell off a cliff. And so, sure, you can cherry pick a judge, but I just don't see these things being upheld on appeal. He's the commander-in-chief. He can declare an emergency, he can declare a crisis, and he can deploy resources to that crisis. So I don't see what legal grounds they have anyway.
I'm Chad Groening.
Iowa revoked the license of a school superintendent who was arrested by ICE for being in the country illegally.
Days after Immigration and Customs agents detained Des Moines Public School Superintendent Ian Roberts, the Iowa State Board of Education now revoking his professional license, saying the Guyana national, who was the subject of a final removal order in May, no longer possesses legal presence in the U.S. Investigators say Roberts fled from a traffic stop Friday before abandoning his district-issued vehicle, where ICE agents found a loaded handgun, a knife, and thousands of dollars in cash, saying that Roberts posed a public safety threat. He remains behind bars awaiting deportation. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
If we lose this cultural war, we're going to have a hedonistic, humanistic society.
Discover the story of the culture warrior Don Wildmon and how he went head-to-head with Hollywood, Playboy, the homosexual agenda, and the Disney empire. The movement Don started paved the way for Christians to boldly stand for truth and righteousness in a hostile culture. Watch Culture Warrior today for free. Visit culturewarrior.movie.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Thanks for listening to AFR on this Tuesday. Hey, it's the last day, September.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Get ready for some serious pumpkin spice, people.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Bring it on.
We're about to have 2 months of pumpkin spice everything.
Yeah.
Huh?
Come on,
right?
Let's go.
I like it for a couple weeks, but then
then it gets old.
I like pumpkin cake.
Huh?
I like pumpkin cake.
Pumpkin cake
With the cream cheese icing on top.
Yeah.
Remember?
What about pumpkin pie?
Right, Steve Paisley Jordan joins us in studio
Good
here.
morning, everybody.
He has his own cooking show too, as well.
Right, Steve does.
Yeah, he does.
Oh yes, I do. It airs on a different network.
No,
you know that
he
thing
can
from
cook.
Disney that I showed you the other day?
Yeah.
I got an email, Ray, from Disney. It said that their personnel department had seen my resume.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Oh man. So, but I also got one from the cooking channel, and I took them up on it. So yeah.
You know what we're talking about, Ray?
The
text, phony text you get.
That's right. I get them all. I've gotten a couple this morning while we've been on the air. You know?
Yeah. Well, one of them, if people got them, is job offers.
Yeah. Well,
that's a pretty popular text scam right now going around. Interesting thing is, I got one from YouTube the other day. They wanted to hire me. I thought to myself, well, you just banned me. You banned me 3 years ago, and now you want to hire me?
They're making up. They want to make
That's right,
up with
trying
you.
to make up.
Of course, it was Karen at YouTube, and she had seen my resume.
Well, that makes sense.
She was
Karen.
Yeah, Karen. Yeah.
Karen, sure.
It was Karen.
Karen at YouTube, she seen my resume, very impressed.
Hey, Sharon is Karen.
I come recommended, highly recommended. So my resume looked great, she said, and all I need to do is call this number. I haven't called them yet. And they could proceed from there with my. I'm going to make
Sure they can.
$6 grand a month.
Will you do me a favor?
What?
I know this goes.
You want
against-
this job?
I would like for you to reply with the one word. Ivermectin.
Oh, ivermectin. Well, because Karen is not. Because Karen is not really from YouTube.
That's right.
I don't want to respond to these people
I
because
know.
when you respond to these scammers,
They think you're alive.
well,
you're there. You're behind the screen.
Then it's never going to end.
Uh-huh.
You mean, Tim? There's fake stuff on the internet. When did that start?
Hey, they're really taking advantage of people
Ray,
that
you
don't
might
know
want
better.
to do some reading on that.
I get the same thing, but they want me to be an animal control specialist somewhere in Wyoming.
Wow.
I haven't heard that one.
I don't know.
I didn't know
I'm
that
not
was
getting the big jobs like YouTube.
I didn't know that was in your background.
It is
Wild.
not.
What'd you say?
Obviously, it's in his resume.
That's right. Somewhere, somebody saw it somewhere.
Yeah,
recommended me for it.
Yeah, I got this. While we're on scams and spams, these loan. Have anybody ever got these?
I deleted mine yesterday.
Okay, well they quit. They were on these.
They quit for a little bit.
Yeah, they won't.
They're back.
I've been pre-approved for a loan, which I never applied for.
Mm-hmm.
And everything, the paperwork's all done, ready to go. They just have a couple other questions.
And they need $200 from you. Just
Yes,
for the
and then I'll get my loan.
Mm-hmm.
And they were 3 weeks of this, like almost daily, voicemails. And they've stopped now.
All right, here's
you got them now?
Hold on.
Anyway, I don't know. It's just
here's
you could
this
put
one.
them. I guess you could block. You can't block them all.
No,
you can't. Go ahead.
State of Mississippi Department of Vehicles, DMV.
Oh, yeah.
This is your final notice.
Did you get that today?
I got it yesterday. Reported.
Is your final notice?
The final
This
notice.
is
You know, they are somewhat.
This can't be legal though. What's the consequence? Who gets caught? I mean,
No, that's a scam.
Yeah, but the person behind the scam not get in trouble at some point?
Sometimes they do if they catch them, but a lot of these scammers are from overseas.
They do some research because I get the toll road fees,
right.
But they're all from the numbers they want me to call and everything are all Colorado numbers, which there was a toll road that I took off, and it was the way to get to the airport. And of course I was paid, but I don't know how they knew to send me the Colorado scam.
I had a similar thing after coming through a toll bridge from Florida, coming home from vacation. Within a week, I was getting a toll bridge, and like you, I'd paid it, so I knew better.
Right.
But
anyway, so none of you guys have got
not the YouTube
job offers.
Karen has not
YouTube?
reached out to us.
Well, I'll let you know. Anyway,
Wesley, I could recommend you out there to Wyoming because I obviously have some contacts.
You want to go out to
Hey,
Wyoming?
that kind of sounds fun.
Manage wild animals?
Yeah, right. You know,
manage it with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
What does that pay? Wonder what that pays.
Not enough.
That's right.
Duly noted.
All right.
All right. Steve, what's your first story?
She's back.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Whose name will not be mentioned.
I don't have a problem.
Okay,
That's Abe Hamilton's line, right?
She who will never be president is
That's right.
his line. Yeah. So Hillary Clinton is back in the news. She was recently on an appearance on MSNBC talking about the impending 250th birthday of our country. And in the middle of the conversation, she has some unpleasant things to say about you and me.
What?
Yeah, I know. Let's listen to her. Cut 14.
And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, it's just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for. And we were on the path toward that. I mean, imperfectly, lots of, bumps along the way, but I agree with you. We were on the right trajectory.
Okay. Well,
White men?
Disagree.
You remember the
what's she saying? White men
of a certain persuasion and certain
of a
religion.
certain religious. What could she be speaking?
I think she's talking about Muslim. No, maybe not.
No.
Hindus?
Hindus?
Maybe Hindu.
No.
Maybe.
No, I don't
No.
know. Not that one either.
I doubt
She's
it.
talking about white Christian men are the problem.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yep, that's it.
But the problem of what? Is what I would say.
Well, that we want to turn back the clock. We want to go. I didn't bring it in. I didn't have time. But one of the politicians or speaking heads on TV actually nailed it when she said that we want to. If we want to have what we want everybody to be able to earn as much as they can earn as much as they want. They can leave it all to their families.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that's what we want. But Hillary, now, notice she said that we were on the right trajectory, right? Do you remember that?
Right now or were?
No, we were.
Were.
Yeah. Do you remember
before the white Christian men?
Well, yeah, before
When
Donald
it messed
Trump.
up everything.
Yeah.
Do you remember the trajectory? I can't say that word.
Trajectory.
The trajectory.
Trajectory.
You remember that thing that we were on? Like the Summer of Love in 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the gender mutilation surgeries. We were so close to being perfect, except not.
Yeah.
Well, listen, imagine Hillary Clinton saying this. No, just imagine this. What if somebody
on the right
that was as high profile as Hillary Clinton is on the left said something like this? Yeah, those black fellows, they set us back, man.
Yeah,
the crime they're committing is out of control. Imagine if somebody had said that, the outcry that would be out there. But like we've always said, if you want to bash a group with impunity, just take the white Christian men.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody bats an eye.
Yep.
when you make broad, general, sweeping condemnations of a group of people.
Yep, that's right.
Like she did, like white Christian men are keeping us from progressing.
Well, she wanted to be more specific than the baskets of the poor.
Yeah,
she wanted
she
to
got
be
more
very
specific.
specific.
She said, and why did she say of a certain religion and a certain ideology? Why did she? We all know what she's talking about. Why didn't she just say it? What was her hesitancy there? You think?
I don't know, but she even said the word. Well, let's just say it, white men. So yeah.
But you know what? That's even a false statement because white men are not exclusively, now white Christian men are more conservative, but white men as a whole, white men in Massachusetts are going to vote differently than white men in Mississippi.
Well, that's why she qualified it with of a certain persuasion and religion.
Right. So white Christian men are the problem, according to her.
Yep.
Anyway, she'll never be president.
Nope.
That's right.
Is that what Abe says?
Abe,
all right,
right.
You're listening to Today's Issues, and we don't care. Listen, white Christian men, you're welcome here. Okay? We're not going to bash you. I know you get your feelings hurt, but we're not going to do Hillary Clinton on you. So
no.
And we welcome Christian men and non-Christian men of all colors, ethnicities, backgrounds,
and persuasions.
So then what you're saying is we welcome everybody.
We welcome everybody.
Yeah, right.
Anybody who wants to listen to this show, we welcome.
That's right.
Yes.
We
As
welcome
long as you send us the positive and encouraging emails and not the other kind.
Right.
We're good.
Right.
Fair. That's fair.
Dudes in dresses, you can listen, but you need to get some help.
That's right. Dudes
That's what isn't that what Pete Hexeth said?
That is what he said. By the way, speaking of, did you see who they booked for the halftime show of the Super Bowl?
Oh, the NFL?
The NFL Super Bowl?
No.
I want to know
Chris,
that.
Steve, who did they book?
They have booked Bad Bunny.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny, B-A-D, Bunny, as in Bunny Rabbit. His name is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio.
Ray, go
What?
down.
I
Go
am
down some of Bad Bunny's hits, if you would. There.
I am so out of touch here.
See, there we go. That's the problem with you, white Christian men.
There you go.
You don't know squat about hip hop.
You got that right. You got
Well,
Bad Bunny?
Yeah, Bad Bunny. If you look up pictures of Bad Bunny, you're just as likely to see him in a big old pink dress as you are.
He's a rapper. Okay, I by necessity have to follow some of pop culture because we have to be aware of what's going on there. He is of course, we know that the Super Bowl has a halftime show, and they usually get a high-profile singer or rapper or whatever to do the show. And so this one is Bad Bunny. That's his stage name. He's from Puerto Rico. He raps. Have I got this right?
Yep.
And so, but he's
in Spanish, by the way. I don't think there's any English he does.
Really? Well, he's hugely popular. I mean, you may not have heard of him, but he's like really popular around the world. So
I've never heard. This is the first I've heard of him, but I'm looking him up.
You look up. I think he's had more like downloads on Spotify or something than any other rapper. The last 3 years or 4 years. They tried to get Taylor Swift. The NFL did, and I think her demands were too much. I think she wanted to own the rights to the show subsequent to it airing. And
Wait,
the NFL didn't want to.
You're being serious.
You're being serious.
Yeah, I'm being serious. Okay. Keep up with these things.
Apparently,
I'm a Swiftie.
I'm behind.
What can I say? I'm a Swiftie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fishing after this.
I'm not a Swiftie. So don't write me letters and email me. I don't have anything against Taylor Swift. I just don't.
All of us in Kansas City, we're all Swifties. Right? We don't have a choice.
Right. You don't have a choice.
It just goes with the territory.
I'm not. I know who Taylor Swift is, and if I hear a song, I pretty well know who's
So
singing.
she would have done it, except she wanted creative control, and she wanted
yes,
control.
That's right. Yeah. She wanted and she's the kind of celebrity and power broker in the entertainment industry that can command that. She can set her own terms.
She's a bigger deal than Bad Bunny.
Well, yeah, she is. But now, what's his name? Is it Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny is he's a big deal out there, but not as popular as Taylor Swift.
So he's going to do all his songs in Spanish.
I think that's all. I read that's all he has.
Are you sure that's all he sings in? Spanish?
That's what I read. It could be wrong.
All right, here's what I would say. Then we can move on from this subject because very few people care about it.
Right.
We're losing some audience.
Yes,
nobody. Very few people in our audience probably even watch the halftime show. But listen, what was I going to say? What were we talking about?
We were talking about Bad Bunny.
Okay, I would say this. I have thought about this though. What's wrong with the NFL picking a country star every once in a while?
Yeah, that'd be a hit.
Because, I mean, I don't remember the last time they've done that. It seems like every year is a rapper or a hip-hop star.
For a while, they were doing, like, retro rock.
After, or pop star.
After the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction, they went to, like, Paul McCartney was there, and the Rolling Stones did it.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Yeah, they had some of those back in the – that was 15 years ago. It seemed like the last 4 or 5 years it's just been rap and hip-hop. But anyway, go ahead, Steve. What's the next story?
All right. You remember the world leaders came to New York for the UN General Assembly last week, and the Secret Service is now telling us that they found and dismantled a massive telecommunications network hidden throughout New York City. And it's one of the largest communication threats uncovered within the country. Over 300 SIM servers filled with more than 100,000 SIM cards discovered throughout various sites of the tri-state area. So this had the potential of doing massive disruption to power and to...
I am sort of an expert on this kind of thing.
No, you're either one or not. There's no sort of.
Sort of? Okay. I know what a SIM card is, but what are we talking about? What did they bust up that was going to potentially do harm?
A room full of servers, a room full of computers.
Okay.
And what they were concerned about is it had a potential to disrupt the country's telecommunications networks. So
it's a big deal.
Yeah, they could bring down.
The FBI busted them.
Secret Service.
Secret Service. But why? When President Trump was in New York to speak to the UN, they got word of
it? I don't know if it. I mean, they busted the. He was there and they busted it. I don't know of.
Yeah, but the reason I asked, the Secret Service is usually not known for law enforcement.
That's true.
They usually just do.
Well, Then
unless it's actually the Secret Service is known for counterfeit. If they counterfeit money, that is under their jurisdiction, but not just criminal.
Usually not. You're probably right. It probably had something to do with business. By the way, did you see how the UN treated Donald Trump when he was there? They did their very best to embarrass the guy.
Oh, yeah. You talking about the escalator quit working?
And the teleprompter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the teleprompter.
They killed the escalator in the middle. He and Melania were on their way up the stairs. And
that's when Trump said, "I'm just going to speak from the heart."
Yeah.
You should have seen the look on Melania's face.
Well, it's kind of like
it was hilarious.
It's kind of like It's kind of like a martyr. You kill Trump's teleprompter, and you're likely to.
I think
launch 1,000.
Yeah, it came back on a few minutes later, but it was too late.
Yeah, it was.
So. Anyway, but I did see that happened in New York. You're listening to Today's Issues. Next story, Steve.
Now, I got a strange story out of Sweden, and I gave you guys a copy of this. Sweden is having a gang problem, criminal gangs in Sweden, and they have found a way to do their killing. These gangs.
This is a serious.
Very serious.
This is morbid, really.
Kind of is.
But anyway,
they are recruiting Swedish teenage girls, blonde girls, as young as 15, to go do their killings, and they're getting cash. They promise these girls money, and the thinking is, well, the police are never going to be looking for a blonde teen girl. As a member of the gang, so she can walk right past the police, right into wherever they need to do their dirty deed, and it's a problem. Now, the Daily Mail brought this to our attention, and I was curious because the Daily Mail talked a lot about the teenage girls, but they didn't talk about the gangs. who are the gangs? I found this, though, from The Economist. Around half the street gang members in Sweden are foreign-born. 85% have an immigrant background. And the countries they're generally from, you're going to probably be surprised at this, but they're Muslim countries.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they have a problem all throughout Europe with
yes, they do.
With gangs and crime being committed by immigrants from Middle Eastern countries. That's just a fact. So Sweden and you know, they've made a big mistake in Europe by letting all these people flood into their countries from Northern Africa and from the Middle East. And now they're having to deal with it. 10% of France is Muslim now. So
I tell you,
you just better hope that they're backslidden Muslims.
Yeah.
You don't want them committed.
They're not.
But the irony here is, Ray, that we'll see what the next 5 to 10 years. We'll see a lot what will happen. But you have to ask yourself, well, these people that have immigrated to Europe from Middle Eastern countries, mostly Muslim, Northern Africa, also mostly Muslim, are they coming to conquer Europe for Islam?
Yes.
Or are they leaving those countries that really are nominal Muslims? They just want a chance at a better life. It's an opportunity that comes with Western countries that aren't available in the Eastern or Middle Eastern or African countries. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. And I tend to think that it's probably a combination of both. But look, demographics is destiny. When you have 3% Muslim minority, that's one thing. When it rises 10 to 10%, your question almost becomes kind of irrelevant. But when it gets to 15 to 20%, there's an irreversible change in the culture of France or Germany or Sweden. And one wonders, I mean, what we know of as European culture, one wonders if it'll even exist 20 years from now.
Well, you combine that, the mass immigration from Muslim countries in the Middle East and Africa into Europe, you combine that with the birth rate of 0 by the native Europeans, you can see what's going to happen. It's just numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You see what's going to happen. All right, Steve, we got 2 minutes.
I got to end with
some
this.
Happy news, Steve?
I got some funny news. Do you remember the QAnon shaman that was on January 6th, the guy with the horns and everything that went in?
Yeah.
His name is Jacob Chansley. He was pardoned by Donald Trump, but he is suing Donald Trump.
Why?
Well, he claims he is the true American president. He is accusing film directors Christopher Nolan and James Cameron of plagiarizing his writings, and he has filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump for $40 trillion. And the lawsuit also includes Musk, T-Mobile,
that's a
Warner
little
Brothers.
excessive, don't you think?
I don't know. In for a buck, in for
$43 trillion. You're going to have to come down off that number.
43 what?
$40 trillion in the lawsuit.
Trump won't pay that.
And he's going to have to go down to 30, 35.
I think those horns. I think those horns did some damage.
So
that's a real story. I'm looking at it.
He got out of. He was pardoned by President Trump.
He was.
And then what happened to him?
He went crazy.
Now he's suing.
Now he's suing.
Yeah.
Well, is he going to show up in court with those horns on?
He might.
I don't recommend that as a strategy.
Let me tell you.
Those horns were a fashion statement.
Yeah, they're for a little while there.
$40 trillion.
40
Yeah.
trillion. That's a whole lot of money. Wow, that's more than
a trillion here, a trillion there.
Really.
Before you know it, you're talking a lot of money.
It's true.
Real money right there.
Shaking my head on that one.
Okay.
I thought that was
I don't think
Babylonian
this is
MD.
a deep state, though.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think this is Trump versus the deep state on this one. I think this is Trump versus the.
No, this is short bus territory.
Okay.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes.
All right. Probably a good time to end this program. We will talk to you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day.
Hey, my name is Wesley Wildmon.
And I'm Walker Wildmon.